Hey guys, welcome back to Bullish on Jiu Jitsu, episode 26 with Professor Bruce and Professor Big Joe. Big Joe, how are we feeling today?
Good, and we got the matching outfits.
Yes, this was not planned. And it's funny enough, I shared with Big Joe, I'm like, this is one of the least worn B1 shirts that I own, just because it kind of gets moved to the back of the closet. I try to typically stick with the all black look. You know, sometimes it must look like I don't change, but it's easy. I don't have to think about it. Do my pants match? All that stuff. So,
right.
We try to stay pretty uniform. And yeah, today I picked out this blue shirt, and Big Joe wore the same one.
So did I. I telling him this is one of my most comfortable shirts I got.
Yeah, so
and I wear t-shirts like 99% of the time.
I will say this: that we still get the same material. The same style, the same shirts from the same company, or the same brand, excuse me. But I don't know, maybe it's just the ink or the what they shoot into the material to make it that color that changes the comfort or the softness.
Maybe, but it doesn't tear; it just hangs in there. So.
All right, guys. So today we wanted to open up. I want to kind of keep this podcast a little bit lighthearted. I feel we're always too serious on here, and we wanted to have a little bit of fun today. So last week we chimed into five tips to kind of help our new white belt manage or navigate his first couple months of jiu-jitsu or his first year. And now today we want to talk about one of the 5 funnies of being a white belt / maybe a little bit into the blue belt. But the first one, Joe, have you ever been on the receiving end or maybe in the giving end of the infamous face smash?
Face smash with my face?
Like face smash, or maybe you got your face smash, somebody passing your guard, jumping over your guard, maybe a shoulder that was a little bit overboard.
I think I still get that. I don't deliver as much as I used to as a white or blue belt, right? But I expect it when you roll with certain level.
Happens. White belts. Yeah,
and I think there's a level that you have to have of some kind of some intensity, and if it comes off like that, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've had, I know in my career as a blue belt, I've rolling with some bigger white belts. I've caught in a couple knees to the forehead, luckily not the nose. But sometimes rolling with a white belt is the best way to work on your self-defense skills.
For sure,
right?
Because it's unexpected. They don't.
Yeah.
I actually was thinking about that. Sometimes when you're rolling with someone who has experience, they might not go for like a rear naked choke. They might not go for like the standard like lapel choke or and white belts, since they're limited or they might see something or like, I'm rear naked, that's what I'll go for. I just go for your neck. I don't know much.
I don't know the setup. I'm just going to
sometimes they'll latch onto something and it's a little concerning for a minute. You're like, oh my God, no one has done that for me in like 3 years.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they got like a rear naked choke on you or something like that, So, sometimes I feel like the danger of rolling with the white belt is kind of interesting. It's
I mean, some guys and it's not all the white belt's fault because it's just the adrenaline, the nerves that cause us to sometimes roll like that. And like I said today, it's kind of we're kind of calling it a white belt funny, but it's okay. It's part of the process. We have plenty of white belts here who have kind of taken my my talks to heart and have kind of been able to relax a little bit.
Right.
When it comes to their grips or to their, the way that they pass. But that leads us on to the next one. It's, the white belt death grip. Holding on too hard. I can tell you I experienced it probably on a daily basis. Sometimes a white belt feels like they're, like they're accomplishing a lot with it, but guys, release the tension. Maybe 10-20% will go a long way when it comes to the grips on the mat. And that was kind of our next thing was the spazzy white belt, right?
Right.
quote unquote the most dangerous rank on the mat.
I remember one time there was I don't know if you even remember him. There was a guy who started training, and you'd ask him what his experience was, and he said he just used to do backyard wrestling. Do you remember that guy? He was a young guy.
Oh, it's happened multiple times.
Backyard wrestling. So you're like, so I was like maybe a blue belt, purple belt, and he just went for like the arm bar, and he had a decent arm bar on me, and I had to stack him and then step over him, but I was like concerned, like damn, just went for it,
Yeah.
no hesitation, just because probably that's one of the few moves where like, hey, we could practice this one move I saw, and whatever. But yeah, it's the spazzy guys are part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, from my, and it is. I mean, it's always good to have good mentorship on the mat. Other belts on there to kind of help you with, letting you know, hey, it's okay to relax. It's okay to breathe. It's okay to slow down. It's okay not to quote unquote win. I think looking back at my career, and I shared this multiple times, I think I was one of the spazziest white belts to ever enter the mat. I really, to be honest with you, I feel like I didn't really slow my pace until late into my purple belt career.
Well, because you're not the biggest guy, right? You have to use that speed and agility. And if you call it spazziness, that's not necessarily like spazziness. It's like just part of your game.
Yeah, and it was overwhelming people. I mean, I do watch my matches as a blue belt and a purple belt, and I definitely don't think I was spazzy. The intensity that I would train at or compete at, I guess you could see like where the spazziness came from. But over time, one of my biggest things is being able to stay healthy to continue training into, my 40s and 50s. So we really kind of toned it down a lot. And I always encourage our guys to do the same, just because it's like you can always kind of have that in your back pocket. But, we want to save your bodies. And I think the jiu-jitsu is still such a new sport that we don't understand. People don't understand like what the outcome is going to be when you're a couple decades into jiu-jitsu. So I feel pretty lucky to be 20 years in and not really have any major injuries that I can think of. I mean, to be honest with you, in the past year or two is kind of where just the daily pains and aches of training have forced me to gain education that now we've been able to kind of strengthen body parts that, instead of having an achy neck,
right,
being able to kind of, train with either what we have here or train with free weights to be able to strengthen out that part of the body where it doesn't hurt. Like today's technique, wasn't hard on my body, but I think a year ago I would have, had a difficult time being able to hang out in some of those positions that we worked on today.
Yeah, no, I think the net benefits as opposed to like potential injuries and stuff is like the benefits outweigh it. Not only physical, but mental, the stress relief, the just getting that stuff out of your system, and then cardio and all that stuff. If you roll, it also depends on how you roll. I remember before I even started jiu-jitsu, I was talking to a guy who was like a blue belt, and he was telling me, yeah, you should try it. And I was looking at him like, I don't want those cauliflower ears, He's like, oh, just, how you roll, just, literally that's what he told me. He said, if you're ever in a triangle, just don't fight your way out of it too much.
There's some things, I mean, definitely things can be said, but we, our student Tim that we often talk about here in the last episode, he's somebody that'll tell you, like, I remember him telling me back years ago, hey, he put extra padding into his headgear and he would still get cauliflower ear.
Oh, the wrestler Tim Ken, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think some people are more susceptible
prone to it. Yeah. I think, and it's true. I've had training partners in the past who just didn't, they looked quickly one direction or the other, and they would get cauliflower ear. Yeah. So
some people actually think it's cool, so they don't do anything about it. But
I would always get told that, hey, if you have cauliflower ear, you're less likely to get a job or this or that. And to be honest with you, some of the best conversations I've had is because people, the cauliflower ear has kind of been an icebreaker.
Yeah, I've only met one guy like outside of like, and I noticed he had cauliflowers, and I said, you train jiu-jitsu? He's like, a little bit, but I wrestled a lot when I was younger. And he got it from wrestling. So,
Joe, how often has this happened to you? This leads us to our point number 4.
Okay.
The forgotten technique. So you've just spent the past 10 minutes repping the technique, drilling it, positional sparring, starting from the position like we worked on today. And then when it comes to do the armbar live in your sparring session, you forget.
I mean, it happens all the time. I'm looking at techniques that are online. I even have a playlist sometimes that I play prior to class. So I'm like, I'm going to work on this, blah, blah, blah. But when it's live, it's sometimes hard to focus on a particular thing. I think the more I've done it, I realized it's what you react to that's available to you is what's best. You can't force yourself, today I'm going to get this guy's back, because it might not come, but you might have had an armbar, or you might have had a omoplata or something, arm triangle all day. Yeah. But if you're going for the back, then you're going to miss all that stuff. So, it definitely has happened where I'm like, I blow. Yeah. Even like doing a triangle, sometimes I'll might make a wrong adjustment or that kind of thing. Some basic moves.
Yeah. I mean, this has happened to me. I've been on the mat, and someone has taught a technique. You go back to your partner, and you're like, "What did we just go over?" Right? That's on us, man. Sometimes we have, especially you just finished a long day of work.
Yeah.
You got a ton of things on your mind. You're thinking about what you're gonna do to set up for tomorrow for your work, or what the wife tell you to bring home. I mean, talk about forgetting technique. A couple of weeks ago, I came home on a Tuesday. My garbage is Wednesday morning, and I just went inside, completely forgot to put out the garbage.
Wow.
Until I came back the next day after the morning class. My wife's like, "Did you put out the garbage?" I'm like, "Holy cow! I walked in last night. I totally thought I forgot something." And yeah, we had
so much stuff going on in life.
Yeah. So to my white belts, guys, like I said, we're bringing these things up today just to know that you're not alone on the mat. This happens to everyone. So never feel embarrassed to pull somebody out to the, especially an instructor, and especially here with us. Like, I think I say it enough, but maybe sometimes not enough. Like, I make myself available. Ask the questions. Did you get stuck? Like, it's okay to say, Professor Bruce, what did we just go over?
Mm-hmm.
I'm never gonna make you feel silly.
I think it's that sort of feeling like when you're doing a demonstration, no one wants to be like, "Oh, can you redo that? I didn't see it." They'll just be quiet and hopefully their partner's looking at it. But there have been times where you're doing the instruction and I'm like out there, I'm just not focused, and I'll be like, "Wait, we have to do this again."
Totally forgot. Yeah, and then those cases, like, hey, ask me. Sometimes even recently, I've had guys that are running. They just got off of work, they got their gi in the car, and they ran in here as quickly as they could. Obviously, I make sure that the partner knows this, but I'll say, hey, teach this technique to your partner. Why? Because it helps you retain that information.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even it makes you focus a little bit more. Maybe it makes you think a little bit more. And you know what? I watch. So yeah, if you totally forgot something important, I'll always fill it in. But guys, don't feel bad when you get out there and you happen to forget the technique. It happens to all of us. The last one is our endless belt tie. So I try. There's some things that we do here at our academy to avoid this, but it kind of goes back to just. You don't want to bring it up. You don't know how to bring it up.
Is that when you don't know how to tie your belt right?
Yeah.
All right.
And no shame. As a white belt, I'll let you go first, George. Did you ever have at any point?
When I started, luckily, my son, he rolled before me. So when I started, he's like, okay, you didn't do this, you're going to do this. And he taught me how to do the double lock, the double lock.
Yeah.
They call it the super lock sometimes. Because I needed it, because my belt was flying off all the time. Even like immediately just comes
Yeah,
off.
with all the pulling and the pushing.
And so he taught me that. So ever since then, that's the only that's the only way I know how to tie the belt. But there's a lot of different techniques. But I always think that to get that super lock is what helps me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know with me when I tell people, I'm like, again, don't be ashamed to ask, because
Right.
you know, YouTube wasn't as prevalent back then, and I guess I was too proud. My ego was too big to ask my instructor, hey, can you go over the belt tie with me for the 24th time? So I actually didn't learn how to tie my belt correctly
What?
until I was a blue belt.
Wow.
Because even the super knot, though, like the one that
Yeah.
you're talking about,
Yeah.
it just took way too much time for me to do it.
Yeah.
So I would just do so as a white belt, my belt was always up and down.
Nothing to me, nothing is more funny than like if the guy's belt is like way up here, like
By the waist?
by his belly button.
Not
or
by
something
his
like that.
belt, above the belly button.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
It's
don't
okay,
realize it
it's
until
okay,
you
but
look in
it's
the
fu- yeah,
mirror.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, it's I don't know. I'm not one to talk about fantastic looking appearance in a gi.
All right, guys. So those Joe, Professor Joe, unless you have something else to chime in on, those are my 5 funnies, 5 white belt funnies.
No, that's good advice. And I actually think when regards to like the technique, like the way we've been training lately with kind of doing the technique with tension, with the counter, and just like it has been really helping a lot in terms of getting those in our brain.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, guys, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, quick pause, and then
Yep.
we'll come back.
Okay.
And they just wanted some opinions on it. One of them was I think he's pretty popular on social media. I've seen his face. I don't know his name very well, but he seems to be an all around self-defense instructor. I know he teaches weapons, other styles of martial arts.
Oh, that guy, the
Guy in the headlock.
Headlock. Okay. Boom.
Yeah. But yeah, watching this instructional here, as far as escaping the headlock position, everybody and their cousin knows how to apply this style of headlock, and it's something that I think people typically do off of instinct. So what I see here, like, this is actually a very good way of explaining how to attack a situation. And from my experience, even on the mat here, being able to get this hand up here is very tough. Just how quickly the headlock comes on. So that style where he ends up on top, he's able to create that frame,
right,
to push off, get to a knee on belly, and then get to a position where he can deliver strikes with power. I think is a very good way to
especially when a guy comes from
yourself
behind you like that, and
Yeah.
like you don't know, man. Try to get there. Might be a natural instinct to be like protect your neck, but it is. I mean, you've done. I actually remember you teaching us something similar to this. Maybe more of like pulling him back.
I do the pull on the wrist to release the pressure, and then use my left hand here to control that far wrist, that far arm, and that's a hook.
Right.
And then look to take the partner down from that position. Come out to the same thing. Come out to the side. Get your right leg in front. So then when you drive the weight forward, you end up in that same. A little bit more controlled than this, but again, I do. The self defense I teach here, it's also for safety of our students. So, but this isn't. This is not bad.
Cool.
All right.
Next video.
So we have Tom Hardy on the mat as a.
He is
Look at this video.
Bane.
4-stripe. Yeah, Bane from Batman.
Bane
Right?
from Batman.
4-stripe blue belt in this video. It looks like it's also an intermediate tournament
That's nice. He's built for this.
for the sport. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think guys like him, like, they have that it factor. It's just that work ethic where it's like,
right.
there's no emotion towards the win or loss. It's more about, the journey and just the objective, right? And I think that's one of the nicest ways that you can approach jiu-jitsu. And I think because of that, more than just because of his background, I think he's a great ambassador for jiu-jitsu.
Right, I agree.
Because I think realistically, like, watching this guy's interviews, watching him, watching his competition videos or watching here, the way he shares jiu-jitsu and just the amount of time that he spends training, I really do think he just enjoys the process of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and that's ultimately what I want our students to get from it, right? And enjoy the process, trust the process, that one day, 10 years from now, we'll all be black belts. So 2 thumbs up to Tom Hardy. Keep training, keep showing up, and lots of props from a guy with his type of following. Not ashamed to get out there and compete.
For sure. I mean, he, like anyone who's successful in something, they had to put in time and effort into it. That generally they could do good in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Because they have that work ethic,
Yeah. No, and it's just that I think they understand the process. They understand the ups and downs. They understand how to take, the wins with the losses. And, I was listening to an interview with Tim Grove, Michael Jordan's strength and conditioning coach.
Right.
And mental coach as well. And he talked a lot about that. And that resonated with me out of the entire interview.
I didn't know he was a mental coach. I thought he was just the strength coach of Michael Jordan.
Yeah, but I think you spend so much time around those high achievers that you start to pick up, these are the attributes that a winner has.
Right.
And I think one of the things that I took away from it, and I've noticed this, when I was competing, was just the, my best matches or my best tournaments were the ones where it's like, you win, you move on to the next match, and you don't celebrate till you get to the final. But even then, like if your goal is the world championship, you don't celebrate till you're in the final, until you finish the world championship tournament. Because I have noticed that, not to get off on a different tangent, but I have noticed people who, they'll celebrate in the semifinal going into the final, and they get obliterated in the final. Or somebody's just happy to get into the medal rounds, right? And it's because you're putting emotion into it. So, all right, let's get back. Like I said, this is gonna be a more easygoing.
Okay.
a more easygoing.
All right, so this is, bam. This is not jiu-jitsu. No.
Yeah, and I think we can make this one quick. I guess the background story and like the way it was clipped online, it made the guy with the white shorts, right, the tank top guy, made him look like the bad guy.
Yeah.
But in reality, it was the more muscular guy with the storm shirt who I guess was antagonizing the match. And it's true. I think in those situations, it's one of those where it's got to be more of a zero policy situation. I mean, I had this happen at black belt before. Same thing, no-gi. And the referee didn't call attention to each of the the kick. I think the kick is what kind of started it, right? Or it's supposed to be a foot sweep, but it was more of a kick.
And then he dove head first straight.
Yeah, I can see how he's feeling the leg.
Yeah,
like he definitely felt that one, and then you could tell he turned it up from here.
Yeah, and you could tell the white shorts was pretty intense. One of those intense guys.
Yeah. Well, he's intense because I really think, kind of from the clips I've seen, it was that foot sweep that was more of a kick really set it off. Right.
And there it is again. Yeah. See, this might even be absolute. Like, the guy looks a little bit smaller than the big guy, so he's in it. You think they're black belts?
I want to say that they were.
This is a mistake here. She stopped them from going, and this guy locked up a triangle. Did you see that? And he's like, "What?" Another guy's like, "You blew the whistle. You blew the whistle." Right? So this guy's already mad, insanely mad.
Yeah, I can even tell. Like even the referees, like hand gestures, like, are you giving penalties? Are you scoring points?
If she's not the head ref, I feel like this is when you would want the head ref in there, like kind of controlling the match. I've reffed matches where I was like, I needed to get the guy because I wasn't sure, right? She should.
I mean, it's heated, man.
It's heated, yeah.
Like you could tell they're like, hey, you guys can't cool it.
Right.
DQ.
Right.
Both eliminated.
And then this guy.
Because it just gets worse. I mean, especially because it's a kind like, I know some people don't like to call jiu-jitsu matches a fight, but it is a combat sport at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see if there's any more kicks. There's a push. There's a stomp. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, this is just a lot of taunting. But that's the same thing as like the other guy, man. He's going to kick you. Stop pulling guard.
Right.
Look, because he's given, I think, the guy in the black rash guard got awarded 2 points for that, for that pull into the kick, a foot sweep.
Right. Boom. See, he didn't like that. No one likes that.
No.
That's fair. That's nothing there. Okay, there. See the hit?
Yeah.
And then there's a hit. Oh, there's another hit. And there.
Yeah, but and I would say that I think that's the DQ.
Yeah, that's the DQ right there. But the ref didn't even warn the bald guy for the other stuff.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's like, dude, you kicked me and you slapped me.
Yeah, so it's just a poorly run event. But to be fair, reffing is hard. I've been there. You're getting yelled at by black belts behind you. You're hoping you get the scoring right. You're doing your best. And he won. All right, I think it can. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I think kind of like my 2 cents on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that referee should have. Don't let it get out of control because I've been in those situations before, and like, dude, I look back at that match with a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth, right?
Were you delivering or were you receiving?
Both? Because the drama started with this guy would run to the edge of the mat,
mm-hmm.
and then as soon as I was about to sweep him, get a takedown on him, he would just jump off. He would just get out.
Mm-hmm.
He would just jump off the mat. He would just jump out of the mat instead of like in wrestling, you would lose a point,
right?
And we would reset, and then right away he'd go to the edge of the mat, and I'd pull him back in. And it's vague, so I don't know if I reacted out of emotion or if kind of the same situation. I think it was one of those where I would engage with him and I would just pull onto him, and this guy didn't want to fight, so I'm like, all right, you don't want to fight, so I cracked him.
What did you give him?
Give him a open palm,
nice.
Right, and top of the head or something like that. And I think after that he bit me. So then I clapped him a couple more times, and then the referee was like,
"Wow!"
The referee didn't call attention to either party. He bit me, marking everything, and I showed the ref, and he's like,
Were you trying to choke him, and you had your hand in front of him? Or?
Crossface. I was trying to pass his guard.
I was
trying to flan him on. He just bit me.
This nogi?
Mm-hmm. Nogi, yeah.
Nogi, wow.
So, and like I said, it just wasn't good for the sport. At the end of the day, both parties, both teams were just standing there yelling at each other.
Was it IBJJF?
IBJJF.
Wow. Yeah. It wasn't like a new breed.
Yeah, and I get it. I think the referee's, mindset on this was they're both black belts, and I'm sure this referee was the same thing. We're gonna let it continue. Even the kicking situation there. I would have. I mean, I've been kicked like that in practice. So it's, I don't know, it's a toss-up. But
this is for a $10 medal.
Yeah. It's a toss-up, man. Yeah. I think sometimes it just kind of tests. It's, like we talked about with Tim Grove, it's leave emotion out of it.
Yeah.
Leave emotion out of it. I mean, the only where it's if that was impeding his performance, that style of foot sweep, I have seen matches where it's that one was it was aggressive, but I've seen matches where a guy just straight up loaded a roundhouse kick.
Wow. At
the guy in IBJF, and then the referee was no.
They should be. There's got to be a severe penalty for that, no competing for a year or something like that, right?
Yeah, you have to, dude. Tim, I'm the third time I mention it, but yeah, you have to control your emotions,
right?
Leave your emotions out of it as best as you can, because that is what you're gonna need to win the final. Nobody ever won. In my opinion, nobody's ever won a finals match or even a UFC title fight not leaving emotion out of it, right?
Right.
Even the Conor McGregors who can really put up a show before the fight. I think during the fight it's business as usual. All right. The last one was, I like the judo one that we guys sent. Yeah. So this was, we were in a situation a couple of years ago. We had a referral here. One of our longtime students brought in a good friend of his, and this guy was a judo black belt.
He was a
alternate.
competitor.
Yeah,
competitor.
and he taught judo.
Yeah,
like that was his main squeeze, and he had already had a little bit of grappling experience. I don't want to dabble too deep into that, but ultimately, he came up to me and he's like, "Where do you see me at?" Like, obviously, I'm a black belt in judo. Like, I'm not a white belt. This guy, like, he was an Olympic,
and he was fit.
He was an Olympic. Oh yeah, he was an Olympic alternate. I said, "Hey, blue belt," and
1,000,000% for sure.
And some people agreed, especially like our students who were working hard for their belts. Obviously, they agreed. Blue belt would be accommodated to where he was at, but some people thought, hey, maybe this guy should be higher just because of his credentials and how long he's been grappling judo, of course. But it is a different animal, and I think you see in this match here, like this guy is definitely skilled and he's doing very good in judo, and he did excellent in the gi, but in no gi, I think is where he had issues, and that we had the same situation. Our student did very good in the gi, tossed everybody. Like, guys did not, some guys tried to test his stand up, and they paid for it.
Bad mistake.
They paid for it. These were blue belts,
right.
But then no gi, or his first division that day was no gi, and I think and it was no gi intermediate, I want to say. So it was according,
right.
blue belt, and I think just the pace of the matches, I think really took a toll on his cardio. But kind of with that being said, I mean, following the IBJJF, I guess belt rules, I think from that day to his next tournament, or from a year, like 12 months, I think once he would have gotten used to the pace of no-gi, I think he would have been phenomenal. Yeah. Quick,
Right.
Maybe, a solid 2 years at blue belt would have really solidified him. And then, sky's the limit from there. Because I think especially at blue belt, like how I made my choice back then, blue belt's that opportunity where you can really, really scale your skill set, right? Really learn without too much pressure on your shoulders, really develop and really enjoy jiu-jitsu, moving forward. So.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right, Big Joe. So, we'll leave you guys with that. We'll hopefully you guys can enjoy the videos that some of our listeners had sent, and we did a decent job of putting in our 2 cents on it. What do you think as far as the judo black belt? Do you think blue belts?
I think blue belts where they should be, because they'll toss you, and in that video he was tossing guys. Right? But the guys would roll and get out of it, stand up, and then you don't get any points for that, right? So he was tossing him. He's getting tired. Eventually, he gets caught, loses the match, that kind of thing. So
yeah, I mean, blue belts again is a good place for people to develop their skills, and from there it's sky's the limit. I've seen people spend as long as 4 years at a certain belt, and I've seen people spend as little as 2 years.
Yeah.
At a belt, right? But the end goal is eventually to have the skill set to 10 years from now I'll be black belts, right? So as long as you're having fun, guys, enjoying yourself on the mat, using it as a good stress reliever. Big Joe, did you have anything to leave us with tonight?
No, but if you have any suggestions for the podcast, obviously let us know.
Yeah, guys, let us know if you like
personally, or send a message on the podcast if you want to be anonymous or anything.
Send us if there's any videos that you guys have come across that you would just like our 2 cents on. Yeah, right. We'd love to break it down for you. I will leave you this. Professor Joe, did you get a chance to catch the UFC Chicago this weekend?
Yes, I did.
What was your take on the main event?
The main event is it was very kind of sad how
One-sided?
dominant he was. It didn't make I enjoy that stuff though, right? Like I wish he could do more than this, right? Just a little pounding on his head.
Yeah, it's just
I was like, maybe get some elbows in there and stuff, but DDP, Dreykus, whatever. It shows that his grappling is not up to par. Maybe he has good wrestling. He took Hazmat down for the first time, right? That's the first time he ever got taken down. It was kind of like a 50-50.
Yeah.
But they were both tired at that point. But yeah, it was not.
I think just the intensity level and how prepared these guys are to compete or to fight, especially a main event. Because Dreykus, there's video of him, and Joe, maybe you can pull this up. He did a quintet, and he was.
He beat everyone?
He beat, he subbed 5 black belts. And I mean, I don't know what the quality of the black belt was, but if you're doing a quintet, a pretty decent sized tournament,
he's a strong dude. That guy looks like an ox. I mean,
and that's the thing. I mean,
thick.
You're seeing some of these UFC fighters now, like there's something in their repertoire that separates them from the crowd.
Yeah.
Some of them is their reach. Some of them is their strength. Some of them is their athleticism. Or a combination of a few different ones, right? So, interesting to see how both these fighters come back. The more footage you have on a guy like Chimaev, people can game plan better.
Yeah.
So, and that's the one thing, we talk a lot and I work a lot in our class with, and Joe, feel free to cut this one out or adjust it accordingly, but. We take for granted the ability to stand up. And when somebody does try to stand up, like how hard it is to hold that person down.
Yeah.
And it's something that even in our judo class, we work a lot on our pins. But, I think as a black belt, that's one thing that really I've been focused on a lot, especially because I'm always watching when we're training. It's something that I try to utilize a lot in my jiu-jitsu is being able to pin, hold people in positions, not necessarily going for the finish, but being able to wear them out, not let them get back up to their feet, because then I have to put a lot of effort into going for a takedown, going for a sweep to get this person back to that position.
Yeah, I think there's a strategy also where, like, we are always trying to do, submissions and stuff like that. Yeah. But if you're in a match and I'm like a heavyweight against another heavyweight, my strategy would be, stay on my feet as much as I could and then get the takedown and then hold them down, right? I'm not going necessarily for the subs and multiple positions.
Yeah.
Just hold them down, get those points, and then try to win the match, right?
Yeah, I think being able to hold somebody down that's actively looking to stand up is a very underrated skill set in today's jiu-jitsu.
I feel like that's one of the things I'm pretty decent at, but my side.
That helps. But even then, Joe, next time you roll with somebody, or if you get an opportunity to do some extra rounds, tell your partner, hey, challenge me today. I want you to try to stand up.
Right.
If you get into a position where you can, try to stand up and see how that changes your approach.
The funny thing was, remember Derek Lewis? It was just stand up. Yeah. And I think it works because no one expects it.
But even if they do, Joe, I can tell you, man, being on both sides of it, it is tough.
It's tough.
It is tough to keep somebody down that knows how to stand up, like a wrestler that's good at pummeling. My experience was as obviously it's gotten better over time, but an eye opener for me was back when I was a purple belt. There was a young white belt wrestler, and he couldn't be like a day over 19 years old. And I even gave him a nickname at the time because I was so frustrated with myself. I called him WrestleMania. Because we're doing positional sparring, right? And every time I would I come across this guy, I would try to knee slice him. Yeah. He would turn to his knees and put me on my back.
Dang, interesting.
And, since then I've changed my approach, and that was a really big learning opportunity for me. But, young kid, he was just really good at standing up. And I couldn't take his back. I tried that. I couldn't take his back. I couldn't keep my hips out from underneath him. But I feel like that was a big leap in my jiu-jitsu career, understanding how to maneuver that situation.
Awesome.
All right, guys. So before we go on another tangent, Professor Joe, if you don't mind, maybe putting in a little snippet of the Chimaev fight so our listeners can see what we're talking about. the crucifix and
Mhm.
how dominant Chimaev, the now champion, was able to be in that fight. And again, I'm interested to see where both of these gentlemen's career goes from here. You know, does Strikers, go back to the drawing board, draw a new game plan, and go on another title run, and then on the other side, how does Chimaev build off of this win?
Right. It'll be interesting.
Maybe something a little bit more exciting. He did what he had to do to win.
Yeah.
Right. But I know there's some fans, maybe not avid grapplers, that wanted to see a little bit more. But again, he did what he had to do to be world champion. So hats off to him. And again, this is the episode 26 of Bullish on Jiu Jitsu, guys. So if you have any friends or family that you feel can benefit from this, guys, please like, share, subscribe this episode. Our goal is still to get to 1,000 listeners, and hopefully from this free content you guys can gain something for your jiu-jitsu. But what it does for us, guys, it motivates us to put out more content, go on a nice streak, and sky's the limit.
Awesome.
All right, guys, so until next time, this is Professor Joe, Professor Bruce, with episode 26 on Bullish on Jiu-Jitsu. Enjoy the rest of the week. Train hard.